Hello, welcome once again. As I said in my previous video about the Berserker DLC, today I am looking at the Shield Maiden. Again, this is the default Shield Maiden, this isn't the DLC pack one, so I haven't got any of the custom options. I don't have the ability to change the head or the spear or the shield or anything. This is just how she is out of the box, so to say. What makes this class unique? It's more of a support defense class, where the Berserker is just a pure melee DPS, get in there, take some heads. This class is by far more of a team player. Her unique aspect is in the name. She is a Shield Maiden, so she has a large shield. It's unique compared to what the other, like the warrior class gets, in that it's much larger and plays a big part in her special ability, which is something you'll see used throughout this match. But as you can see there, and it's interesting because what she does is, not only does she plant this sort of shield ahead of her, by rapidly tapping the attack key or left mouse button, she will strike ahead of her, and you can very quickly take down several enemies who are just sort of milling around sort of behind each other, and you can very quickly drop them. It doesn't do a lot of damage for one hit, but 2 hits, 3 hits, even 4 hits if that's necessary. It never usually is. 2 or 3 hits is enough, and you'll take down any foe. And this is also the first of the classes I've seen that has more of an active skill, in that where the other classes you'll press the F key by default, they'll do a backhand swing, a lunging thrust, a dual, weapon strike that'll be an instant kill. The Shield Maiden, you actually hold down the key to do the ability, and then you attack. So she plays a little differently. It's nice to see that they've made that distinction with the class. Ow! I'm not quite sure if I get hit by an enemy there or whether I got hit by a friendly. I think there's some sniper over on the hills. This is in Conquest again, just for anyone who hasn't seen this before. Conquest mode is very similar to any of those kind of multiplayer battlefield type games. You capture points, and your objective is to try and get all the points to win the map, or hold out and have the most points to be the winning team. So at the moment I'm on the losing team. We're trying to capture this gorge in the middle through this rather sort of scenic little valley here. I'm not quite sure where in England this would be, but it looks very nice. Yeah, by default she has her one-handed short spear, and she has a single throwing weapon, which is a javelin. It's not bad, obviously it's got higher penetration, does more damage. It obviously doesn't have as much range as the throwing axes. And when you buy the pack, I believe you can edit, obviously, outside of visual things such as hair and face and such, and helmets. You'll be able to pick some unique spears. Again, they're purely visual, they're not pay to win. You don't have some, like the shield doesn't fire lightning or give her the ability to see through walls or any stupid shit like that. It's just purely a visual thing. I think you get 2 unique spears that are outside of the standard ones already in the game, and you can also alter some of her weapon loadout, so you can have a one-handed sword instead. She does have a backup melee weapon outside of the spear, but I don't think you can use the shield with it, which obviously makes it a lot harder to play. I think overall she may actually have less hit points. She certainly has lower stamina, I believe, than characters like the champion or the just bog standard warrior. So overall, as the DLC, it's much like the Berserker. It's mostly visual customization options, but it's that fact that you get the ability to make those classes your own. Oh, actually, I do tell a lie, there is something I forgot. This DLC pack, being the first, gives you 2 extra character customization slots. So yeah, you can make like 2 Shield Maidens if you want, or you can. It just allows, if you don't like the Shield Maiden, it's a way of allowing you to have more variants of the gladiator, the champion, or the skirmisher, or warrior, whatever. I actually do well there. Successive kills, everything else. I also want to talk a bit about where War of the Vikings is right now. Obviously, it's not mainstream. It's indie, I would say, or if not, I would say B title. You know, it's not AAA. It's B. It's not a huge amount. They're asking far less. £15. It's a good price. I wouldn't knock them. 15 or 20. What you get in that package, I think, is perfectly fine. Some people will pop up on the Steam forums and regularly ask, you know, are people still playing this? I will say yes, as the date is the 21st of June 2014. There are still plenty of people playing. Does it have the numbers of Battlefield? No. Does it have the numbers of PlanetSide? No. Of course not. But the people you find playing this game are the regulars. They are the ones who are regularly playing this game. Largely helpful. I've not really come across anyone who's particularly caustic to the community or such. I think you may see some people complaining in the forums about how Fatshot have handled certain things, and you know, that some of the points are valid. It's like any game community. You're gonna get your bad eggs with you good. But yes, I can jump on this game at 2 in the afternoon, and I will find a full server for a game type. So I will find several, and in the evening I will find more. There are servers in North America, but from what I can tell, there do seem to be more servers in Europe. Obviously, the material, I think, appeals more to a European audience, clearly, than it does an American audience. Obviously, War of the Vikings, much like War of the Roses, has its ups and downs. It certainly has its competition. The much more, I don't know, accepted Chivalry, which I played, and I wouldn't knock it. It's not a bad game. I actually think it's kind of unfair to sort of compare these two titles. Chivalry is more like a bunch of live role players, or American live role players, who think they're speaking like ye olde, you know, like ye olde British people in medieval times, rather than, you know, proper sort of knights of the era in the medieval period. It's tongue-in-cheek, it's silly, and I can see the appeal. I didn't really like it as much. It felt more arcadey than what War of the Vikings might feel to some people, honestly. It's got its good points, and it certainly has its humour, if you've seen any of the videos on YouTube out there. But if you want something that's a bit more tactical and less about, I don't know, it's hard to say really. I don't know, it really is. It's one of those Marmite type things. You're either going to love War of the Vikings, much like War of the Roses, or you hated War of the Roses, and you're not going to like War of the Vikings, honestly. They have made improvement with War of the Vikings over War of the Roses. There's no denying that. I think the pace is better. You don't have the bullshit with plate armor being the be-all and end-all. You don't need one specific weapon type to be dominant on the field. Archers don't feel OP. Every melee class is just as effective as killing the others, and because weapons now don't have special stats, there's no sort of a rapid attempt to grind your way through the game to try and get the absolute best weapons, the absolute best armor. Classes pretty much just have what they have, and ranking up and getting gold is purely for cosmetic things. So buying a sword that doesn't look rusted and like shit, buying a sword that actually looks kind of cool. And there are unique sword skins and axe skins and every weapon type for both the Viking and Saxon factions. So it's not like they haven't put the effort in visually, and you can have a lot of variants in there. You can see some really intricately detailed shields as well. People have really put the effort in on these things. There's unlockable cloaks, and there's obviously different head types. I mean, they've added more head types as well. There's a really good number to choose from out there at the moment, so your character isn't going to look like a carbon copy of the others. I mean, unless you've just started out. But then that's how you can kind of see the newer players from the older players and more experienced ones. which kind of, I think, feeds into that sort of competitive edge where you sort of like, you know, you want to take down this guy who's got his fancy shield and his badass looking sword, so, you know, so you can prove a point, so you can prove that you're the badass of the Viking raiding period. Overall though, War of the Vikings is a solid game. If you're on the fence about it, it's probably going to come up in a Steam sale at some point, and when it does, I would say try it out. I would say pick it up. It's not hurting for players. If you've got the time in the afternoon or the evening, there's always going to be someone around for you. The game learning curve isn't huge. Graphically, it looks very nice. The combat is, for the most part, feels rewarding. It doesn't feel cheap. The lag can be an issue if a European guy jumps onto a US server or a North American guy jumps onto a European server. The ping will definitely be felt, because you will suddenly find a guy warping around, or you'll get hit even though you know from your point of view there's no way they hit you at that point, because the lag is there. But if you're playing with people from your sort of region, it's fine. It's very, very responsive. This is definitely evident in skirmishes. The bow shots, when you fire and hit, there's no latency there. It's really smooth. I just kind of hope they bump the player numbers up. I would love to see this game go up to the same kind of player numbers that War of the Roses had. It would be great to have 64 players with a full-on attack and defend mode. I'm sure that kind of thing's coming, because Fat Shark had a different development approach for this title compared to War of the Roses, where War of the Roses was more of a complete package on release, whereas this went through the early access program. They got the feedback, they've got features that they're working on and adding as they go along, and I think they've done a good job overall. I've not had any game-breaking bugs. I've not had it crash. I think I've had 2 crashes in the time I've had it, and both of those were in an early period just after launch. Maybe I've been one of the lucky ones. It's always convenient that people who sort of review or talk about games seem to have a really smooth time with them, but I promise you, if I hated this game, I would be making a video talking about how much it sucks. For me, the game is really fun. I may not have put in as much time as some others, but I play a lot of games around there. But when I do feel like going in for a hack and slash game, this is the first choice, without a doubt. I would love to see Fat Shark really add more to this and give us more options and classes and maps and game types to really play around with. My only complaint about this is I feel that the 2 DLC packs are a bit pricey. I mean, at £4 each, you're almost, you know, you're really racking up there. I mean, if they add another class, you're going to be up to £12, and you're more than halfway towards the full price of the game for some customization options. I really think these packs should have been £2. Yeah. It's a niggle. It's a very minor problem. Obviously, other people may have a very different opinion, but that's how I feel about War of the Roses as it is. As you can see with this match, the Shield Maiden is just as viable a class as the others. You can see it. Obviously, it's in game right now with the Berserker class as well, so it's not like the balance has been thrown to shit. In fact, it seems like most people are still playing the basic classes that came with the game, which is a good sign, I think, because it certainly shows that the DLC classes aren't like, overpowering or completely ruining the sort of multiplayer part of the game. Well, multiplayer is the only part of the game, you know what I mean. You can bitch at me in the comments. Anyway, so pretty much wrapping this up. I'm gonna win the round. Because, you know, I selectively choose the videos to look like a badass, but, you know, that's how it goes. I could have shown you the round where I lost, but then I'd look like a total noob, and, well, you don't need to see the video evidence of that. Just know for a fact. So, yeah, once again, thanks for watching. I'll try and get more videos up. I'm going to try and run Twitter, still working that out in the day. I'll try and upload some Twitter videos here on the YouTube account. I've also got lots of written stuff. You can read my ramblings over on the blog site, which will be linked on my channel. So once again, thanks guys. Have a good week wherever you may be. Critical Rocket signing off for end recording or something.